Hi, and good afternoon. This is Tiffany Frederick. I'm excited to be sharing with you some of the exciting things that have been going on over the past few weeks. This program was developed to briefly bring you up to date on the activities of the initiative nationwide. I am with the Returning Youth Initiative that Dr. Surajit Khanna launched to help reintegrate post-incarcerated adults back into society, help them achieve their goals and realize their dreams. Dr. Khanna is a child safety advocate, servant of the underserved, and the voice for the voiceless. So this last few weeks here in Hamilton, Montana, Carrie Anderson held a bead class on February 25th. Participants got to hang out, have fun, and learn how to make their own beaded jewelry. How do you think that went, Valley?
Sorry about that. I think it actually went really well. Not all the participants that we had gathered actually showed up, but nonetheless, those that did, they had a good time. There was pizza. We're looking forward to having another beading class in the near future with just slightly different techniques to learn from. It was really great to see the community kind of pull in their friends to the events, like their family friends, their boyfriends, or just the regular friends. And we actually was able to use one of the gals that showed up. She then went to our next kind of community service and helped the elderly unload their grocery carts. So it turned out really well.
That's wonderful. So on February 26th, Dr. Khanna was in LA in support of Writers Incarcerated Publishing Company and also supporting two authors, Ramsey Orta in his book, A Shot in History, The Poison System, which shares Mr. Orta's observations and experiences with the criminal justice system as it dealt with the murder of his friend and his own incarceration. He also shares his history and background growing up on the streets as a man of color and the discrimination and stereotyping that occurred. Lavelle W. Bell co-authored Kids Journal Through COVID with children and young adults across the country. This unique book features brief essays featuring each of the 50 states written by young people. It shares the inner perspective of our children as we all journey through this pandemic and how it has impacted their lives. The initiative also sponsored 50 copies of each book that attendees could pick up and have signed by Lavelle Bell, and his co-publisher, Sharon Hogg. Valley, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so this was another good event. Dr. Khanna was able to witness the release of both of the books. Like you said, he sponsored some. He also was able to do a Q&A on the initiative with that and got a lot of good interest out of it. There will be a few upcoming similar events to this one. One's actually happening right now, again in LA at a couple different schools, and then in the next couple weeks over in the East Coast. So definitely stay tuned for those.
Thank you, Valley. On March 6th, local volunteers conducted a food and shoe drive to help those in need at the Missoula County Courthouse in Missoula, Montana. They were met with a great turnout and a lot of gratitude. One volunteer, Tito, gave a needy individual the shoes he was wearing and continued the drive in his stocking feet. How did that go, Valley?
This was a lot bigger than our first food drive. First, I'm going to share a picture. This is Juan Yanez, otherwise known as Tito. He's the one that gave his shoes off his feet. They were taken in less than 5 minutes, and the lucky person that got him was so ecstatic to get a new pair. She really, really needed it. So it was good. We'll be back again, but this time probably in Hamilton, Montana instead of Missoula. And we're hoping that the turnouts just keep progressing like they have been. So it was huge. We probably donated about 40 pairs of shoes. So it was good.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, moving on. On March 7th, Brian Paul, Michael Cardassia, and Paul Nilsson located a facility to open a safe haven community center and an auto dealership in Lake Worth, Florida. The regional returning youth initiatives are self-funded, so businesses like this auto dealership are created to help fund the opening of safe haven community centers. Safe haven is a place where young adults can go to study, socialize, participate in various classes and community service projects, and just hang out, all in a safe environment. How do you think that that's going, Valley?
So they just located that last week. So they're just developing a team to get it started. I know the business is going to be VIP Auto Group, which they already have one of those over in Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania, that Mr. Paul Nelson, he runs that over there. So it'll be good. It'll be really good.
Well, this is exciting on so many levels, the least of which is that we're one step closer to realizing our goal of establishing the initiative in safe havens, in every county in the United States. So today I want to share with you some ways that you can get involved in advocating for social justice issues in your own community and being a part of movements at a local level that will help to bring positive reform and change. So in August of 2021, the University of Kansas published an article outlining 15 ways to advance social justice in your community. They write that society's collective lens is now sharply focused on the disparity of experience among different social groups. Some examples are LGBTQ legal rights and protections, the abuse of women, the rights of immigrants and Indigenous peoples, and racial discrimination. So they listed the 15 ways that you can get involved to help encourage social reform individually in your community and even in the world. And today we're going to cover the first 5. So number 1, examine your own beliefs and habits. So positive beliefs and advocacy begins at home. We all grew up with certain ideas and beliefs about the world that we saw and heard modeled at home. Becoming a strong ally in a social justice movement requires an openness to growth, learning new ways of thinking, and ongoing self-reflection. So what this means is that we need to be able to look at our own personal beliefs and opinions and our own personal worldview about the things that we see going on around us in the world, and be willing to change those as we learn new things and open ourselves up to new opportunities and new growth. Number 2, educate yourself about social justice issues and familiarize yourself with the issues that you feel passionate about, and research what's being done about them. Whether it is hunger, gun violence, or voting rights, you'll gain a better understanding of a particular issue's current state by learning about its history. So for example, this month is women's, in recognition of women's, it's Women's Month, correct, Valley? Yes. And so if we look at women's rights and the women being able to vote, that all started back in the late 1800s and early 1900s with Susan B. Anthony. She was a huge advocate for women's rights, and she and many, many other courageous women worked really hard to get us to where we are today, where women have a voice in their political and social systems. So by looking at the history of something like that, we can see where we've been and how far we've come, and then we can look to the future and see where we would like to be on these particular issues. Number 3, discover your local organizations. Many advocacy groups for social justice, like the ACLU or the American Civil Liberties Union, have local chapters. To get involved and build local connections, look for organizations or groups in your local community. Meetup is an online platform that can help you locate groups in your area or build specialized groups to advocate for the social issues that you're passionate about. Number 4, take positive action in your own community. Learn about the issues within your community by watching the local news, reading the newspaper, and listening to podcasts. So we all have a number of issues, social issues, that occur in our communities on a local level. And it's really important, if you want to get involved, to reach out and to try and identify what those particular issues are that your community is facing, and then get involved. And you do that by, again, watching your local news, looking at your newspaper, listening to podcasts, social media. I mean, most places have different pages and groups that are dedicated to the local community, and you can find a lot of information in those places. Okay, number 5, harness the power of social media. Social media platforms are powerful tools and a great place to reach large numbers of people and to spread awareness of the issues that you want to advocate for. So social media has changed our lives and the way that we connect with other people in so many ways, and it's made it possible for us to be able to connect with other people on the other side of the country or the other side of the world. And because of this, it makes it a lot easier for us to get involved in social issues that we feel really passionate about. You can find groups, pages, and if you can't find those things, you can create your own to gain a following and to be able to move in the direction that you'd like to take your issues in. So they do help to build community, facilitate awareness, and encourage collaboration. Now, we all have the ability to create positive social changes, not just at a local level in our own communities, but thanks to the internet and social media at a national and global level as well. Your voice has power and your voice counts. Use it to create the world you want to see. No dream is too big or too small, but you have to take the first step to realize it. Be the change that you want to see, and remember that change starts with you. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we look forward to spending time with you again next week. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you all.